Elon Musk, if I use the expression he's at it again, well, he is. Here's what he tweeted. Deleted my Tesla titles last week to see what would happen. I'm now the nothing of Tesla. Seems fine so far. And there's another one. Look at this. On Instagram, 10% of followers like even lame posts. On Twitter, good posts get 1%. To which a follower replied, how about that one that cost you 20 million? How was the like ratio on that one? And Musk said, worth it. Joining us now is Teresa Goody, former SEC attorney, knows all about this stuff. Looks to me like Musk thinks he can do whatever he likes.
He does, and it seems as though...
He can.
Yes, well, maybe not without getting penalized for it. He also seems to defy common sense here in some of the basic fundamental understanding about how corporate governance works, how CEOs are supposed to
He doesn't care.
behave. No, he doesn't.
He doesn't care.
And
now, he's reached a settlement with the SEC, right?
Right.
Does that mean he can say anything he likes about the SEC? Because that's what he's doing.
No, absolutely not.
No.
And it shows that he's not following through with the settlement and saying that he's going to just tweet whatever, see if anybody notices what he did was wrong, and then come after him. I mean, that's a recidivist. That's a repeat offender. He's just showing that he has complete contempt for the SEC, for the rule of law. I think it's going to come back to bite him because...
So what could happen to him?
Well, he's violating the settlement agreement already.
So?
And so, so the SEC could throw it out if they wanted to. I mean, I don't think that that's going to happen at this point. But if he continues down the line that he's on, this, along with the criminal investigations that are still undergoing, I mean, this is just going to lead to further penalties. He said $20 million. He's fine with stockholders having to pay $20 million fine so that he can tweet random things that defy common sense on the internet.
You're exasperated with the guy. You're absolutely exasperated.
I am exasperated. I am just really, truly shocked that a CEO of a public company would behave in this manner. And after everything that we've seen and everything that he's been through, he still is not stopping.
Well, may I point out that after all he's done and everything the company has been through, the stock is still well above $300 a share. That's why he thinks he can do whatever he likes.
That may well be the case, but, you know, when you have criminal and civil regulators coming in and the authorities coming in, and we'll see what happens with any kind of criminal investigation that happens. But, you know, I'm sure that there is going to be some other penalties that he's going to have, and they're just going to be more severe because this is going to get thrown back in his face. So this is how you behave.
I'm just trying to follow this forward here. You have experience of this kind of thing.
Yes.
And you're essentially saying that, look, he really is out of control, and he will pay a price for it some way down the road.
I'm sure of it.
You're sure of it?
I am sure of it.
If he doesn't say another word, there's not a single another tweet, will he be okay? If you were the lawyer, if you were the lawyer pressing him, if you were with the SEC right now, you're with Harvey Pitt, you're pressing him hard,
right,
would he get away with it?
I think he would have to make a statement to show that he actually finally gets it, that what he's doing is not okay, and show that he has some fundamental understanding for the way corporate governance works.
He has no respect for corporate governance.
No, he doesn't. I don't think he understands it or knows anything about it. And so I think he needs to learn this.
Are you going to teach him? How are you going to teach him?
I've been trying. I've been here on the show with you talking to you. I've been trying to explain it, but...
I don't know whether he watches the show. The president may on occasion, but I'm not sure about Elon Musk. You've been giving him advice, and he's never taken it.
No, he hasn't. He hasn't. But
I'm astonished.
I wish he would.
OK, Teresa, come back again. Give him some more advice if he steps off the rails again, OK?
Thank you so much.
No, thanks for being here. We do appreciate it. Thanks very much.